Hey guys, my name is Pamela and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about things that we need to get ready before our spouse deploys overseas or wherever that may be, especially with everything going on right now with Ukraine. I feel like we need to always be ready for anything, for worst case scenario. I know that the likeliness of our spouses getting deployed to Ukraine are really low, but they may still go overseas to help those countries around Ukraine, to help out those refugees and to aid in any way that they can. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know about some of these things that you need to get ready. I mean, a lot of it is documentation. You need to have all of your documents ready. And if you are married and you have children, it's extremely important for you to know exactly what kind of documents you need to have ready before your significant other deploys. So you need to make sure that you are having a power of attorney when it comes to either one of you guys. So both of you guys actually should have a power of attorney, assigning the guardianship of your family to someone that you trust. And also, with that said, you should also have a will in place for the both of you. It's an awful thought to have that your significant other might not come back, but you need to be prepared. It's one of the hardest things to really talk about in the military as a community and, within the military families, but it's something that's highly essential for you to have planned for your family, for your future, because you just never know. And unfortunately, that's the reality that we live with as military spouses. Power of attorney, you can actually go to the legal office on base. Every base has one. You just have to figure out where it's at, and you need to go to them and ask them exactly what kind of power of attorney suits you best. Again, make sure that your will is up to date or established, period. And make sure, and that's for both of you, not just for the soldier. You need to, as a spouse, you need to have a will in place too. And make sure that your military IDs are up to date. So make sure that you guys, and also make sure that you guys are all, as a family, your children, even like if you have a newborn, make sure that they're all registered under DEERS as a dependent. This one is one that everybody misses, but make sure that your soldier's SGLI is up to date, and that's their group life insurance. So make sure that that's up to date. Make sure that you know what benefits come from that. Even if your spouse is not deployed, this is stuff that you need to have done, period, because you never know. In the military, in the Army, to be more specific, because that's our experience, things can change overnight, and it's nuts. So you have to make sure that you're ready. Also, you have to kind of run over your insurance policies. If you have like life insurance, vehicle insurance, all that stuff, make sure that you're just keeping an eye on it. Make sure that you know it's up to date and that all of that stuff is going to be covered while you are gone overseas as the soldier, so that your family's taken care of and doesn't have to worry about those things back at home. If you are a family that, let's say your soldier has children from a different marriage, make sure that court orders are all in place. You have everything written down. Your child support is set on automatic so that your wife does not have to, or your husband, I don't know, so that your significant other that stays back at home doesn't have to worry about those bills or those things that you have to pay for. Now, if you are a spouse and you are a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home parent in general, while your significant other is deployed, it's so much easier for you to have that flexibility. And it's going to be so beneficial too, because if you start to feel like, okay, it's been a few months since my soldier has been gone overseas and has been deployed, I feel like I need some friends. I need to go visit my family. And you don't have to really work with a lot of scheduling besides your children's maybe school schedules. But if you're if you're a full-time working parent and you have the kids at home while your significant other is deployed, it's going to be a little bit harder, but you need to make sure that you are telling your job or wherever you work that you are a military family. They should already know this, but I know a few people, I've known a few people who haven't said anything about the fact that they're married to a soldier because they didn't want to violate OPSEC. I think that some people take it a little bit extreme with OPSEC, and don't get me wrong, it's a huge deal. But you need to tell your work that you're a military spouse. There might be some times where you need to remove yourself from work because your children need you. So you have to make sure that you are really vocalizing that to your job, to your manager, to your boss, whoever is in charge, and letting them know, like, hey, my spouse is deployed. So just to let you know, I'm the only one that can take care of my kids, and although they're in school, I might have to pick them up if they get sick. Or whatever may happen. And it's also to prepare them, because I've never ran into a job where they didn't have a plan in place for me. I was working full-time for a while Sean was deployed, and they had a plan in place in case I needed to remove myself and go get my child from school. There was always somebody available to help out and to jump in case I needed to walk out of work and take care of my family. So make sure that you're just, again, voicing that out and letting them know, so that you're giving your job the opportunity to have a plan in place for you. A couple other things that I think were really important for us is that with TRICARE and your dental insurance and everything like that, before Sean would deploy, I made sure that my kids, or my kid at that point, my one kid, she was up to date in like her shop records. She was up to date on her doctor appointments, her dental appointments, because I didn't really want to deal with the solo parenting, while he was gone, and having to take her out of school and me come out of work so that I could take her to a dental appointment. So I kind of dealt with that while he was home. So make sure that you're like kind of jumping ahead of time on that and making sure that those things are taken care of. Another thing is to have your tax records ready. You never know when they're going to deploy. So if they're going to deploy during that time of tax season, you have to kind of jump on that and make sure that you have everything prepared, all of your tax records put together, and figure out how you're going to be able to file for taxes if your spouse is overseas deployed. So, and there's always a tax office on base, so it's usually really easy to get access to one. Lastly, make sure that your emergency contacts are set in place. Usually, the one thing that I can think of is for daycare or school-wise, you usually list yourself and your spouse as your emergency contacts for your kids, but one of them is going to be gone overseas, so you need to make sure that you're letting know that daycare facility, letting know your school that you are the only one available and to strictly call you, and if there is somebody else that they can call, to list them down. And last but not least, set up a Skype account or a Zoom account, whatever is going to, be the way that you guys are going to communicate, or what you plan to use. Just set up the account early on so that when they get over there, you don't have to worry about signing up for a new account, and you don't have to worry about making up an email or whatever it is that they need you to do. It's a very tiny thing, but it's just something that I like to do. Have everything just ready beforehand. This is a just in case, and I know that our soldiers are going to be getting deployed overseas constantly no matter what, but I felt like it was the right call to make this video today, because you can never be too prepared for deployment. I just want you guys to be prepared, to be ready. At the end of the day, yes, those are all the documentations that you need to get ready beforehand, or at least, prioritize what are more important than the others. But, the one thing that we can do here at home spiritually really is just send out some prayers, and send out prayers for those who are overseas, for those families who need us, that are in Ukraine, prayers for the families that are back here in the States waiting for their soldiers. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.